Welcome to the Loveland Report and the Lone Ranger Radio Show on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. And I'm telling you, the weather is so hard to keep up with. One day it's freezing cold, the next day it's hot, next day it's raining. I'm just glad to get back to some normal weather here. But speaking of, what a time to go out and start looking at buying real estate. But I'm getting a lot of people call me that seem to be a little nervous, a little apprehensive about what's going on. So let's talk about the real news, not the fake news, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So first of all, let's talk about some things that are causing people to have a little bit of anxiety. And by the way, Cleve is going to chime in and do his listings here in the next segment. I'm going to take the show today. So if you have any questions for me, the Lone Ranger, Bruce Woodburn at CrossCountry Mortgage, I am more than happy to field your questions, answer about purchasing, refinancing, a real estate transaction that you may have. Now, I take limited calls on the air, but if you would like, you can call or text me at 407-250-9144, 407-250-9144. If you have a question and you want to text that to me, I can always answer it on the air. I know some folks are just a little apprehensive to get on the air, but that's okay. We can handle it any way you want. If you'd like to reach Cleve, he can be reached at 407-352-8118. That's 407-352-8118. All right, we're going to talk about a little bit of uncertainty and apprehension in the real estate market, or actually in economy in general. So we're seeing inflation. We see that full on. I don't care who you are and who you voted for. You cannot avoid inflation. And inflation is a form of taxation, in my opinion. Now, look, I can't blame our current president in his entirety for inflation. It was looming because we had artificially deflated interest rates for so long, and that creates inflation. However, the president that we currently have is in full denial that we're actually in inflation. I don't know what that means. So that's causing uncertainty. We're seeing our fuel prices have gone up quite a bit. Now, I can tell you I'm a little bit more concerned because I don't know what our administration has any plan to do, and I don't think they do have a plan when it comes to Russia invading Ukraine. I think we've actually just gone ahead and resolved to the fact that they're going to do it. Now, unfortunately for you and I think that's going to cause our gas prices to go up. I mean, I got to tell you, you don't have to write this one down. You don't have to call me on it, but if you want to, you can. I think that we're going to see gas prices in the $5 range. I just don't see how we can avoid it. Now, one of the problems for that is that we shut down our own pipeline coming through Canada. So as soon as they got into Congress, shut down the pipeline because they want to force us to all be green. And you know what? I'm all for being green. Green me all up, baby. I love green. However, I don't think that cramming it down our throats when other countries are not doing the same. And they're not going to do the same. And the ones that are creating most of our pollutions don't give a darn about who says green. They'll tell you what they think you want to hear and move on. But that is causing issues for us. It's causing major issues for Canada, and Canada is really our sister to the north, and we've got to respect that, and we've totally shut down their pipeline because their pipeline was our pipeline. So that's going to cause gas prices to go up. Then we got the Fed looming on. They're going to raise interest rates. They've already gone up. I mean, come on. This time last year, I was at about 2.875, some even at 2.75. We're already really pushing the fours in many cases. And I think that interest rates will probably pop into the fives in not too distant future. There's hardly a way to stop that. Now, I'm not afraid of that. You might be. For those of you that are move-up buyers, you're going to sell a home. You made a ton of money in the last couple of years in equity, and you don't care. You're leaving a 2.75 interest rate to go to a 3.875 or a 4.25 or whatever it is, or in 2 weeks from now could be 5.25. Who knows? You're leaving one thing to go to another, but you made a ton of money in equity. You folks aren't going to be hurt as hard as the first-time home buyer. So we're going to talk a lot about helping young folks get out of renting and into a home, because the issues that are really hitting them right in the forehead are that rents went up by 20% last year. They're predicted to go up another 20% this year. Now, that is an expense that someone has that is not fixed. The landlord can raise their rent basically whatever they want based on their lease, or they'll hope that you just get out of the house so they can get a new tenant in and do whatever increase in rent that they want to. But the fact of the matter is that the price of renting is going to continue to rise. If you buy, your mortgage is a fixed rate. At least with the loan arranger, they're fixed rates. So nothing goes up other than if maybe your taxes or homeowner's insurance goes up a little bit. But the rest of it's fixed. But the dilemma you're having is that as interest rates rise, your buying power is less. And I can assure you that your income and your boss didn't give you a raise that is commensurate to what inflation has done to the cost of housing and gas and groceries and everything else. So your income, you actually are making less income even if you are making slightly more income than you did last year. It just doesn't go as far. And that's what inflation does, folks. It's just the reality of it. So all those things, I don't want to sound like a Debbie Downer on here because, to be honest with you, I'm pretty darn enthusiastic about the future. But there are challenges, and I don't want to ignore them and act like they don't exist. So, first-time home buyer, let's get you into a house, whatever it takes. If you are an adult parent with adult children or a grandparent and you can afford to help them out with a gift of a down payment, then do it. If you have a tax refund coming to you this month or next month, then use that for a down payment. But whatever you do, you must get into a home. You absolutely must get into a home because we will probably see about 15 to 20% increase in prices. Now, you think about that. On a $300,000 house, if it goes up by $50,000, okay, that's $300 a month more in a payment. And if the interest rate goes up by another percentage, that's another $200 to $300 a month in your payment. So you're going to pay $500 more a month for the same house that you could buy right now. And then that becomes unreachable for you if you don't have the income to support it. So let's work together to help more folks get out of renting and into a home. Now, I had this hit home for me, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that in my third segment on how this impacted me personally, because I've got a family member who lost a family member and had to rearrange her whole will and trust, and thought about how to deliver her assets to her heirs. And when we dissected who the heirs were that were going to receive the money, not me, by the way, some of them seemed to be, less educated, less opportunities, more likely for future income. So what do those folks do? And what type of disadvantage may you be or your family member be at? Maybe it's an education. Maybe you find that it is a ethnic issue. I don't care what it is, because as a person who analyzes finances across the board, it's really universal. You got some wealthy minorities and you got some poor minorities, and you got some wealthy majorities and you got some poor majorities. And in this case, in my family, they aren't doing great. So what are the chances that they would ever, as individuals, be able to come up with a down payment to buy a home without a little family help? Probably not that good. So they are going to be impoverished by I call it an enslavery into rent. Because once you get in it, if it keeps going up, you have no extra money to come up with a down payment. So you're stuck in this rental thing, or you have to move in with a family member. So I think it is a form of enslavery. Just like I think of socialism as in form of slavery or liberalism as a form of slavery. But that's a different topic. It is what it is. But it sucks you in and you can't get out. So how do we help these folks? How do you help your heirs? Well, what you do is you're going to leave them money anyway. I mean, I'm going to leave my kids some money. I'm going to try to spend as much as I can, but I'm going to leave them money. If I have grandchildren at some point, I'll make sure that they're taken care of as well. But I don't want to make it too easy for anybody, because I lost my parents when I was 15 years old. My dad had an insurance policy that expired the day after he passed away. If he would have died one day later, I would have got nothing. But I got $25,000 as a inheritance from the insurance of my father passing. Now, that's not very much money, but it seemed like a lot of money when you're 15 years old. Now, I couldn't spend it till I was 18. Do you think I already had the things planned out that I was going to spend it on when I was 18? And they weren't good things, okay? So here's what I basically pissed it away on. I bought a boat, I bought a van, and I bought a motorcycle. And listen, your kids and your grandkids aren't going to be any different than you are. They're going to buy a boat, a motorcycle, and they're going to buy something. But it's not going to be things that they're going to need. It's going to be things that they're going to waste your hard-earned money on. So what I've done with mine is I have forced my inheritance to be in the form of down payment in real estate. So now you think about these kids that may be struggling to be able to really establish credit, maintain credit, pay their bills on time. So I have committed myself to teaching a class, and I think I've got this on the books already. I'll have to check my schedule, but I believe I set that up for April, and I'll check the date on that, and I'll give it to you in the next segment. But I'm reaching out to pastors, deacons, priests, churches, youth groups, all of you folks. And I want to help these kids that have not had any type of home economics. They don't know how to balance a checkbook. They don't know how to pay their bills on time. They don't know how to establish credit. They have all these things that I wish somebody taught me how to do, and nobody did until a little bit later on in life, after I basically spent everything that my poor dad, who worked his whole life to leave me. So again, it wouldn't have made me rich, but if I'd have used that money then to buy a home, come on, homes back then were $75,000. Now, that same house that was $75,000 is $575,000. So I could have put down 25-30% on a $75,000 house if that money would have gone into that. I didn't know better, but I want to help your kids know better. I want to help your kids understand how investing in real estate will perpetuate wealth. Not only wealth for them, but generational wealth. Call me at 407-250-9144 or go to my website at webringyouhome.com. Get those kids right now in, and let's do a loan application. Now, in this class, I am going to be inviting kids that are between 15 and 35 years old. I'm going as low as 15 so you can understand what you need to do to get their act together now. But if you don't own a home and you're 35 years old or older, then I'm going to kick your butt and I'm going to get you going in the right direction. And if you can't get your kids or grandkids' butt kicked, then get them into my arena. I'll kick their butt. Listen, I come from a place from the heart because I was there. I was dirt poor. I spent that money and I had no food. I couldn't feed my dog. I got a car repossessed. Didn't have enough money to do anything, right? I remember that I had to go to somebody's house. It was my birthday, and see if I could get a meal from them. So I come from a place where I've been at the bottom. I can understand it, but I don't give sympathy for it. You got to get the heck out of Dodge and fix the problem. And the only way to do that is to have somebody that's going to get down and dirty with you and be honest. If you want that, then you have the Loan Arranger. Get on your kids and get them into my class. I'll get you that date. I think it's April 13th. That's what it is. It's Youth Finance 101. So we're going to cover a lot of ground here, but I need your help to find people to help me get young folks into that class. webringyouhome.com or 407-250-9144. Be back in 5 minutes with Cleve's listings. Welcome to the Loveland Report in the Lone Ranger Radio Show with Bruce Woodburn, CrossCountry Mortgage. Cleve has gone out about selling property, taking listings, helping people make money when it comes to selling and buying real estate. So let's get started on some things that are going on right now in the market so that you can be best prepared. So as you guys have heard, I have been super committed as a lender to helping more first-time home buyers. So my commitment in 2022 is to help more first-time home buyers than I've ever helped. And I'm going to tell you something, I've gotten an outpouring from all of you that are wanting to help your children, grandchildren, or help somebody that you know that's renting get out of this vicious cycle. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. I will be holding a realtor mastermind class, a real estate mastermind class called Real Estate Mastery on Thursday, the 24th. It will be a Zoom class. You must go to webringyouhome.com. That's webringyouhome.com and register there and get into my class. If you have never bought a home before, this is an absolute must for you. If you want to buy multiple properties, this is a great tool. This is not my wealth building leapfrog class. Don't get confused with that. It is how to get into a house and all of the things that you need to know to be able to get yourself positioned so that you can buy and become the winning offer. I'm going to cover all that with you. That again is on February the 22nd. That is on February the 24th at 6 p.m. All right. Now, moving on to some other things. Great news in the market. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have made it a little bit easier for self-employed people. Okay, self-employed people have always been at a disadvantage because you need tax returns, a lot of bank statements. There's just a little bit more documentation. So they have relieved some of the pressure on you, all you folks out there that are self-employed going, banks make it a nightmare for me to get a mortgage. Well, it just got a little bit easier. So they've relaxed on some of the requirements. Doesn't mean that it's free for all for free money, but they have relaxed some guidelines, which we have already implemented in our underwriting strategy. So if you are self-employed, there's two things I want to tell you. It got a little easier. Secondly is don't file your 2021 tax returns until I see them first if you want to buy or refinance a home. Because once you file them and you press that button, and then you turn around and you go, oh, man, I'd really like to buy a house before they get up any higher. And then you call me, and the first thing out of your mouth is, oh, by the way, Lone Ranger, I got a very creative CPA, so you're going to have to really sharpen your pencil. Well, I already know what that means. It means you make lots of money, you have good credit, you have money in the bank, but you don't show the IRS you make a dime. Well, that becomes problematic when you're trying to get a traditional loan. Fortunately for you, I have bank statement loans available for those of you that don't want to pay the IRS. No judgment here. I don't really care what you want to do. But if you're trying to get a premium mortgage at the best possible interest rate, you want to make sure you're showing enough income. You want me to review that? Call me at 407-250-9144. That's 407-250-9144. And I will help you with reviewing your situation, getting you qualified so that you're in a buying position. Now, let's talk about some other reasons why I think this market, like I'm getting calls, people going, man, this inflation's going crazy. You know, Russia's going to invade Ukraine. Gas prices are going to go up. Yep, probably all those things are true. That's probably all true. But you know what else is going up? The price of houses. You know what else is going up? The price of interest rates. It's all going up, baby. Just keep on going. And you know what? It's going to make it harder for some folks and not others. It's not as hard if you're selling a house and you're walking away with $100,000 in equity in it and you can put down on the new house. But for all those first-time home buyers out there or all those people that are on really limited income, it's going to get really tough for you guys. Really tough. That's why I made a commitment to help more first-time home buyers in 2022 than I've ever helped. Problem is are you going to help yourself? And is there anybody in your life that might be able to help you or guide you in the right direction? Guess what? There probably isn't, but there is now, and that's me. So let's just change the tune here and just hit this right between the eyes. I had a revelation with my wife dealing with a family situation where a loved one had passed, and and my cousin, who is a grandmother, was going to leave some money to her kids, and one of her kids passed, and it changed everything. Changed who she was going to leave her money to. So we will look back. We went, well, how about your grandkids? Why don't we give the grandkids your money when you pass, but they got to use it to buy a house? Because what do you think somebody's going to use $25,000, $30,000 for? She's got 6 grandkids and they all got $25,000, $30,000. What do you think somebody that never has any money in their pocket is going to do with that money? I can tell you what they're going to do with that money. You're going to see a brand new motorcycle in the driveway. You're going to see a Boston Whaler. You're going to see an 80-inch screen Samsung. And you're going to see all kinds of garbage that won't do anything for your future. So I said, here's my money. You inherit it. You got to use it for a down payment on a house. She's like, that's the best idea I ever thought of. They'll never buy a house if they don't do that. They'll spend it. And you're right, they will. People will spend money if they're not used to having it. But once you get into a house, you start to understand it, and you become more responsible, and you become more involved in your community, and you're going to amass wealth. Because here's the thing about a mortgage, your payments never go up. I mean, if they do go up, they went up because your taxes or insurance went up a little bit, but they don't really go up. They're fixed. We do all fixed rates. So you're stable. What do you think your rent's going to do? Well, I can tell you what it did last year. It went up by 20% nationally. Okay? Now, you want to go another 20% this year? Probably exactly what's going to happen is this year. Now, what else is going up? Price of houses are going up. So I'm just going to tell you that a year and a half ago, you could have bought, the average house was going for about $253,000. It's going for $353,000 now. Now, that extra $100,000 is going to be costing you, well, let's just put it this way. It's about $60 per $10,000. Okay? So that's a $600 additional payment on the same house you could have bought a year and a half ago. Now, well, we haven't finished, because what if interest rates go up at 1%? Well, they've already gone up almost 1%. What if they go up another 1%? So for every 1% they go up on about a $350,000, $400,000 house, it's going to raise your payment about $200 or $300 more dollars. So now we got $600 to $1,000 more for the same doggone house. Are you kidding me? You have to stop and think now. So I am, and I want you to write this number down, because I start to go off on this rant. I get pretty excited and passionate about this. 407-250-9144. 407-250-9144. Or go directly to my website and have somebody that you know that you care about that's renting apply for a mortgage right now at WeBringYouHome.com. I will promise you, there is nobody you can trust in the industry that'll take better care of your kids and grandkids. I am happy to yell at them about all the things they've been screwing up on and then get them going in the right direction. So having said that, my wife and I were reflecting upon these kids getting this money, and they don't really have an education. They were not educated well. I'm just going to tell you. And listen, you think non-education is for minorities? It's not for minorities. It's not. It's across the board. White people, black people, Hispanic people, Asian people. It's across the board. You either come from a family that's going to give you guidance on how to balance a checkbook, open credit, maintain credit, and stay on you about being responsible about that, or you're going to go south because there's nobody there to guide you in the right direction. I'm applying for the job. I will help your kids and your grandkids get their act together, and your job is to get them in front of me. That's your job. You get them in front of me, and I don't care if they're 15, 17, 25, or 35. But anything between 15 and 35 years old, you need to come to this class. I'm building this class just for you because there is nobody to guide them in the right direction. So we're going to talk about the things I wish somebody told me that never did. We're going to talk about how you can create generational wealth by buying real estate. We're going to talk about why it's important to balance a checkbook. We're going to talk about that one thing that will change your life when it comes to the path to home ownership. Listen, I'm going to be honest with you. Renting is slavery into poverty. It's slavery into poverty. What do I mean by that? It means that if you rent and rents go up, they keep you in there. You can't go anywhere. You can't go buy a house if you're starting to pay too much in rent. You can't save any money, so you have no money to buy a house. It perpetuates itself. So you are enslaved into that rent. And I'm a landlord. I like to have people rent, but I'm always there to help my tenants become homeowners. I encourage the home ownership. I'll find another tenant that'll come right behind you. I don't need you to keep renting my house forever. So listen, the opposite is true for home ownership. It perpetuates generational wealth. If you own a home, your children are 11 times more likely to become homeowners. If you own a home and your children are raised in the home you own, you have a less likelihood of a teenage pregnancy in that household. If you own a home, your children are 116 times more likely to graduate from college. If you own a home, your average skills in school are 9% higher reading grades and 7% higher math grades. That's the difference in a C and a B or a B and an A. That's the difference in the school your kids are going to go to. There's so many economic and socioeconomic benefits to this. I will teach these kids the language of money. I will give them direction and guidance. I'll show them how to budget. Nobody taught me how to budget. I mean, come on. And you're not talking from a guy that came up and had a silver spoon. My parents were average income. My dad was a builder here in town. But here's the thing. I lost both parents at 15 years old. I was orphaned at 15 years old. And believe me, I did not go down the right path originally. I did not go down the right path. I'll go ahead and admit that. My wife's like, why do you have to tell everybody about all your laundry? Okay, I got to be real with you. I've gone down the same path. If it wasn't for people that cared about me, if it wasn't for people that loved me, if it wasn't for people that took me by the hair and grabbed me by the ear and said, knock it off, we got to get your act going. And that's what it took for me. And it changed my life. And it took me. I'm a 10th grade dropout. Okay. I did not finish the 10th grade. I do have a PhD. Okay. I have a public high school diploma equivalency. Okay. Not the real thing, but the equivalency to one. And yet I have been able to do extremely well for myself, and I'm teaching others to follow that path. If you have children or grandchildren that are not going in that direction, then the best thing you could do for them is get them into my class, and then let me show you how you can spend your inheritance that you're going to give to them the best way possible. And that is, don't let them just have your money. Make them use it for home ownership. And if you're really smart, we're going to make them use it for home ownership while you're still alive. Okay, that's the best way to do it. But let's get these kids going in the right direction. 407-250-9144, 407-250-9144, or WeBringYouHome.com. I'm the Loaner Ranger, CrossCountry Mortgage. I've helped more than 10,000 people get into houses. 10,000 people. I'm getting to be an old man. But you know what? I ain't tired. I'm going strong. Okay, I am still willing to help more people. Listen, my kids are on the same path, the path I'm teaching. I'll teach your kids and your grandkids. But I can't do this alone. I need you. I need your parents, grandparents. I need you if you're a deacon, a pastor of a church. I need you if you're in charge of a youth group. We need to help them. They are going to drown. They are going to be renting or living at home for a long, long time, the way this country is going right now. Or we can get them into home ownership and they're going to get rich and really rich, because that's what's going to do it. Do you know, here's another statistic for you, that you have a 70% greater chance on retiring as a millionaire if you buy a home in your 20s. Why? Because you're always going to be a homeowner. Nobody goes back. Nobody goes back and goes, wow, that home ownership was for the birds, man. I hated making that much money. I love paying my landlord. I like it when he doesn't fix the hot water heater and my garbage disposal's backing up and the toilet's backing up and I can't get a plumber in here and I got mold in the ceiling. Yeah, you love that. That's great. Now, let's change that cycle. Let's break that cycle. But I need you, my listeners, to help me. Most of my listeners out there are well-established people. You're smart people. Okay? I got the smartest listeners of any radio show out there. I know it. Call me. 407-706-3313. I'm the Lone Ranger, and thank you for tuning in to the Loveland Report and the Lone Ranger radio show. We're not finished. We got 5 more minutes because I'm going to talk to you about something really cool I'm going to do tomorrow on my show. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Loveland Report and the Lone Ranger radio show. My name is Bruce Woodburn. I am the Lone Ranger. We're going to wrap this segment up here with the next 5 minutes, and I can tell you something. We have got a lot of things to cover on this. So, a couple of things. We talked about the helping more first-time home buyers in this market. Why am I so passionate about helping more first-time home buyers? Because they're at a huge disadvantage right now because of the price of houses going up and interest rates rising. So I mentioned to you that I'm going to be teaching a class in April. I believe it will be April the 13th. 6 p.m. on a Zoom class. If you know somebody that's currently renting, get them into my class as quickly as you possibly can. That is going to be April the 13th, 6 p.m. It will be Youth Finance 101. We're going to cover everything from balance a checkbook, how to open credit, how to maintain credit, what you need to do to position yourself so that you can stop being a renter and get into a home. Super important that we help more folks, because I'm going to tell you something. Rents went up 20% last year. They're likely going to go up 20% again this year, and we have a choice. We can help these youths get into a home, or you need to make room in your spare room because they're likely going to be moving back in with you and their kids and their dog. So if you want to prevent that, let me help you prevent that. A couple other things. We are so fortunate here in Central Florida that the news came out that out of the top 10 cities in the United States, Tampa, number 1 place to buy, Jacksonville, number 2, Orlando, number 9. We are going to make money in real estate. Now, something here I want to mention to you. This is an important time of the year that so many of my buyers, and primarily I'm speaking to all of you self-employed folks out there, it's time for tax season. And what do you do when you call and you want to get a mortgage? The first thing that comes out of your mouth is, hey, Bruce, I got a really creative CPA. Well, I know what that means in my language. It means you made a lot of money, you got good credit, you have money in the bank, and you're not showing any income. And you're wondering why you're struggling with a bank or a mortgage company getting you a loan. I am going to bring onto my show tomorrow, 11 o'clock, the same station, 107.3 or 580 AM. I'm going to bring a dear friend of mine that's been helping me with my taxes for, well, I don't know how many years, but my wife told me it was 2005 I've been working with this guy. His name is Ben Moore. He's well-established CPA right in Maitland, Florida. I have trusted him with my own taxes, and we're going to interview him tomorrow at 11 o'clock on my show, the Lone Ranger radio show. So I want to make sure that you carve enough time out during the day. I know you're going to be on your way back from church. I know you're going to be on your way to church. I know you're going to be mowing the lawn, doing the vacuuming, cleaning the house, doing the laundry. Just turn on the radio show and listen to my radio show. If you are self-employed, you do not want to miss it. Very important. So these are some of the things that we're going to talk about. Now, something else that I think you need to keep in mind. All of you self-employed folks, you got a little gift from Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac this month, okay? They relaxed some of the guidelines for self-employed folks, okay? They're not going to be as strict on your profit and loss and balance statement. You don't need one right now. You wait till after tax season, and you're going to need one. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have been requiring 3 months of bank statements from your company to make sure that your cash flow is equal or greater than it was from the previous year's taxes that you filed. They're going to relax those guidelines a little bit. So we're already using the new guidelines. So if you're self-employed and you're wondering where to go get your mortgage, you stop everything you're doing, call me at 407-250-9144. That's 407-250-9144. Or go directly to my website and apply online at WeBringYouHome.com. That's WeBringYouHome.com. realestatemarket.com. I want to thank you for tuning into my show this week. Cleve Loveland and the Loveland Report and the Lone Ranger radio show. Cleve is out and about selling property today, but I'm here, and if you have any questions for me, you just pick up the phone and call me. That direct number again is 407-250-9144. See you tomorrow at 11 o'clock.